Well, tonight on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, Black Americans are really suffering financially underneath the Biden administration. Black Americans are having to make decisions to pay bills or to put food on the table. I've talked about many times before, when I go buy a couple of items at the store, I'm always paying close to $100 at the grocery store for items that did not cost that much a couple of years ago. And a lot of Black Americans are, stressed out over this. They are. And it just amazes me how you have Black people who can literally still support the Biden administration at this point, and we're suffering. All of us are suffering financially. Case in point, listen to these Black voters that's going to speak on this issue.
It's hard to think about the world and all of the other things that are going on when my pockets are hurting. My money is starting to not go as far as it used to be. So that's an issue that one of these two candidates should be able to address.
We have yet to see a president really focus on addressing the quality of life issues for communities of color.
I don't feel like I will ever be able to own a home.
I really just don't think that Black home ownership is really a priority.
I would like to buy a house. It is hard for me to buy a house still being a felon because a lot of the funding is from federal. And federal does not fund a lot of individuals that are still considered a felon.
We make the people that are struggling the most, we create the most difficult process for them to be able to get to the point where they can get ahead.
Everyone had the same assessment that they're struggling in the Biden economy. But let's get to the conversation of home ownership. The majority of Black Americans rent, and that has this economy has really put a squeeze on us because the jacking up the prices of rent. Only 44% of Black Americans are homeowners. The remainder are renters. If you were a homeowner, the advantages of that is that, yes, it may have some extra costs that come with being a homeowner. That's true. It do. But during the pandemic, homeowners got to get all kind of extra incentives because they were homeowners. They were stacking money. They have different home equity loans you can get. If you got equity in your home, you can actually sell that property later if you would like to get something else. Maybe you got enough money to get another home one day, and now you can maybe turn that into a rental property, Airbnb, something like that. Because once you get a home, the only way you could even get an 800 credit score, you got to get a mortgage and pay on that mortgage for you to get that 800 credit score normally to do that. When your credit score is that high, you can literally get any kind of loan, anything you want, use that credit score. Now, they're 100% right. They do not care about Black home ownership. They don't care. And let me tell you something. The FHA program can actually get Black Americans into homes. But they don't want to push that for Black, even underneath a Democrat administration. You can pick a Democrat administration. They are not saying, hey, we need to get Black Americans in homes through the FHA. FHA is guaranteed loans by the United States government. Biden right now could make a change to the FHA program that can get Black Americans in homes. If Biden and Kamala actually cared about Black Americans and their home ownership rates, this is all they got to say. Okay, what we're going to do is lower the debt to income ratio because the United States themselves are in debt. How are you going to punish people for having debt, but yet the government is in debt? So we're going to wipe away that debt to income ratio. We're going to take your rental history. We're going to look at what you've been paying. And we're going to see if you have been, consistent in your payments, you never missed a payment or nothing like that, let's say within a year, then at minimum, we want to get you into a home that have the same payment that your rent is because you can afford that, clearly. So let's find you a home that pays for that. They can find a home that pays for that, period. Somewhere within the United States, they can find a home. Even if you have to move to another city, you say, hey, at least I got me a house and it's affordable for, because if I'm going to rent, then I might as well buy. You know what I'm saying? The Biden administration or Democrats or Republicans don't care about Black people owning homes because they don't want us to be have anything solidified for ourselves. Democrats and Republicans both agree they do not want to see black Americans come up. They don't want to see you business owners. They don't want to see you homeowners. That's not what they want. They don't want that. When you look at even when black people have homes, how many times that black people had to sue because appraisers come out and lower the value of their home, not because the home is jacked up or anything. No, just because a black person is in it. Homeowners had to deal with that mess. Black people try to sell their home and they want to lower the price on that because it's a black person. They had to go get a white person to sell their home and act like it's their house, and then it makes the prices go up all of a sudden. I mean, they have this system so rigged against black people, it is wicked and criminal. Black people going to suffer as long as you keep renting like that. Or they jack up the rent, do this to the rent, or whatever, and black folks becoming homeless. They want black folks to be at the bottom, and the way you keep black people at the bottom is you make them suffer in the hands of landlords. Let me tell you something. If the majority of black Americans were homeowners, let's say if it was 70 to 80%, we were homeowners, guess what would happen? The rent prices would drop. Why? Because if you don't have people renting, you got to drop the prices. You can't keep raising the prices up. That's the key to fixing the rent prices. But the Democrats, and I say Democrats, that's who black people vote for. That's who you're giving all your stock for. That's who you crash out for. You're willing to have the FBI come visit y'all behind talking crap for the Democrats. I mean, y'all have lived, some of y'all, not all, but some of y'all have become literally insane with these people. And yet you drive into an apartment. The Democrats even help you get a doggone house. That's what I'm saying. And black Americans all over the country are talking like this. They are. And the issue that I'm having is that why are we going to go and just give all our votes to Democrats when they don't even care about us like that? Now you say, well, Republicans don't care about us like that either. You're 100% right. I'm with you 2,000%. The Republican Party don't care about black America like that. And I never told you go to the Republican Party. No, because the reason why I would never say go to the Republican Party and just go sit in their party is because they're going to say something that's going to either make you go at them or you're going to have to sell out. One of the two. You know, I could never go around them and say, well, America's not a racist country. That Tim Scott stuff. No, hell no. I'm going to say America was built on racism. It operates today on anti-black racism. And until y'all fix it, it's still going to operate on anti-black racism. It's built on economic sabotage to black America. I would tell that to their face. So I couldn't last with no Republican very long either. And I wouldn't last with Democrats too long either because, yeah, I could say some of that to them, but I'm going to want them to do something about it at that point because I'm like, we getting your votes. You know, so what's up? What are y'all going to do about all of this? What's up with these reparations? Why black businesses are suffering? Where Democrats, since you our friends, why don't you give us some low percentage SBA loans? Maybe 1 to 2% SBA loans or 0% to help our black businesses so we can do for ourselves. Did you know a $50,000 to $100,000 would be very beneficial to small business owners in our black communities? It would. They can really invest into their businesses and do different things. Democrats said they stopped playing games with giving people permits and all this craziness that happened to black businesses. There's a lot of things they can do without Congress right now. Biden can right now without Congress to help black people get in homes. He can do it, but he chooses not to because remember, Biden said that he wants things to go back to the status quo. And the status quo is keeping us cemented at the bottom. Listen, the migrants that came in here yesterday is in a higher position than black Americans. You better believe that. And I don't care where the migrant came from, whether they came from Latin America, whether they came from Asian countries, whether they came from the Caribbean, the African continent, etc. But at the same time, even though the African and Caribbean people are migrants, they had a big protest with African immigrants in New York. And they were saying that Biden and them and the Democrats was giving all the money to the Latin American people and not giving them nothing. So see, at the end of the day, they going to be treated bad, too. They're going to find out that at the end of the day, they look at you as black. You may have an accent. Some of you may want to sell out, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, you're not them. And they're always going to prioritize lighter skin over the darker skin in this country. You better believe that. Black Americans should be focusing on home. And this is the crazy part. I didn't grow up in apartments. All my family in America, Port Arthur, had homes. So I'm trying to figure out what happened. I got to do some investigation about what happened. We all, even in a lot of our neighborhoods, they had black, when you say black, the black communities, there was homes. Okay. What happened with our people where we could not get homes? Because in the 80s, I grew up in a black neighborhood, 90s, etc. I didn't know what apartments was until maybe later in life. It's better to have a home. And I know now they're doing tiny homes, they're doing all kind of things now, but we got to get ourselves from underneath renting and be homeowners. And the education, and this is the thing, y'all. We got to also want to look at the education aspect of it and watch things. A lot of times I could bring that information. I could bring people on here to realtors to teach y'all how to become homeowners, how to get around the system. But this is the biggest problem. When we do something like that for some of y'all don't want to watch it. And that's the sad part, is that some people ask, why don't y'all do this kind of content, that kind of content? Y'all don't want to watch it. I'm not saying all of you don't want to watch it, but the majority don't want to watch it. If you don't watch something and if you don't engage in content, then it lets the people know there's something you don't watch. It's kind of like, I remember when Cardi B talked about that. She said when she tried to talk about other stuff outside of her private parts, they didn't want to hear it. So you say, okay, I'm gonna keep talking about my private parts and shaking my butt and everything else. That's what you want to hear. That's good. So you talk about content a lot of times. Y'all dictate the content. Y'all do it. Sometimes we got to do things to get education, maybe financial education or whatever, because we wasn't taught anything as black people. Only thing we know is to survive. We wasn't taught how to thrive. We always got to learn. There's so much mistakes I've made trying to do things in business that I wish I would have known from a child or a teenager. Them folks teach their kids how to thrive in business early. That's why they get so far ahead. We got to learn the hard way and play catch up as black Americans. But as long as we keep renting, we always going to be victim to rent hikes. Always. And that's part of the things that we got to focus on. Now, when Biden had his Lift Every Voice plan, he said he was going to give $15,000 in down payment assistance for black folk. We never saw it. This man been in office almost 4 years, and we never saw it. We need to go back and look at that, if it's still even on the web. Go look at that plan, what he said he was going to do for black folk, right? That's why, see, I read that Lift Every Voice plan. A lot of you didn't. He didn't do a thing for black Americans. And maybe we do need to revisit that Lift Every Voice plan and go through it one more time so y'all can see what he said he was going to do back then and look at today. He didn't have in that Lift Every Voice plan, hey, well, when you vote for me, I'm going to give the Asians a hate crime bill. He didn't say that to y'all. He had y'all thinking that he was going to do a police accountability commission and a George Floyd bill and all that, and John Lewis voting bill. None of that happened. But personally, I knew Biden what he was. Biden has been a doggone racist from the beginning. But y'all rather go with him. Y'all say Trump's the racist. Trump is Hitler, some of y'all. I'm like, but yet Biden actually done things to us that you can look at on paper. I'm just saying, I never understand that if anything, beyond with you, if anything, I would expect you to take the couch and not give your vote to now one of them if you really want to base it on how some of y'all feel. But yeah, my people stay suffering, man. And until black people realize it, that we participate in our suffering, yes, we do. When we don't sit up here and hold the Democrats accountable for what they do, when we keep giving them our vote, we're co-signing what they're doing. And they say, well, shoot, we ain't got to do nothing for them. I mean, they going to give me a vote for me anyway. So why should I do something for them? I'm the one to get the votes for people that's going to force me to do something for them. That's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's exactly what it is. The Democrats feel like they don't have to do nothing because you're going to vote for me anyway. Because all I got to tell you, that dude racist. That's all I got to tell you. And you're going to just, oh my God, yeah, he racist. And boom, vote straight ticket Democrat. Even ADOS still had you doing that. What did ADOS tell you in 2020? Leave the top of the ticket blank and vote down ballot Democrat. So basically, you still a Democrat. Even if you followed exactly what they said to do, down ballot Democrat, really? If you so-called fighting for reparations, it shouldn't be no down ballot Democrat at all. It's like, well, who gonna have a policy? Why? That's been our problem, straight ticket voting. That's dumb. So you can have a guy who could be a Democrat and could be an anti-black racist, but hey, vote for him because he's blue, right? Vote blue no matter who. And this is why ADOS really went into not being relevant anymore because of the 2020 election. If you think about it, prior to that, they had a little stroke with them, but that election tanked them because they told people to go vote down ballot Democrat, and look what happened. Look what happened to that. That's why people start saying they were political Democrat operatives. Why would you tell somebody that and you fighting for reparations? But anyway, we got to do something different, ladies and gentlemen. We got to go from home on, like my grandparents on both sides had their own homes. My great grandparents, my aunties, my uncles, they didn't live in apartments. They had their own homes and they were not rich. I didn't come from a rich family. Not at all. If you knew where I come from in Port Arthur, that's why I work the way I work now. Because I wanted to say, you know what? I love my family. I love what they done for me. But you know what? They walked so I could run. And I've always said that, God, if you give me the health and strength, I'm going to work and I'm going to do good and make my family proud. Make my ancestors proud. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Period. And I can care less if somebody condemn me and thinking, oh, you this and you that, man. You don't know where I come from. You don't know what I went through. You don't know how I grew up. I had to wear the same clothes at times. I couldn't afford to get a haircut at times. I had to eat the same food at times or ramen noodles at times, man, because times were hard. So I'm a man. I'm going to make sure my kids don't have to go through nothing like that. I got to make my family proud. So what I would say to Black America, we just got to just change our focus. We got to get our focus on home ownership. We got to get our focus on business creation as a people. We got to get our focus on family creation as a people because we have way too many single parent households. We need to have the family back together again. There's been so many blended families in the Black community. They've been doing that. That's nothing new. But we have to do that, folks. Home ownership, business creation, family creation. That is the nucleus of any group of people, and also having God in your life and some morality. You put those four in there, and we can take it, like our families used to. Because what's going on today ain't it. It's not, and I say it ain't for a reason. It ain't it. It's not working. Clearly, we're suffering more today than my grandparents suffered, even in their time period financially.